This is actually a story about my first patient that didn't speak any English. Just kidding, a different patient. So I was nervous about this category not because I couldn't think of a story, it's just because my entire existence could be summed up as that of a square peg in a world of round holes. And it's the idea that just because you fit doesn't mean you belong. That being said, if you put a square peg in a round hole, there's space between each of the four sides. And the best thing that you can fill that space up with is bullshit. So I got really good at that. For 3 years I worked in the firearms manufacturing and sales industry, and I love guns. I'm not ashamed of that at all. I'm a self-proclaimed gun nut, but the only problem about working in the firearms industry is dealing with other gun nuts. I also play music, and there's this sort of divide where, I'm hanging out with other gun nuts, and they're like, fucking AR-15s, I'm like, yeah, and they're like, machine guns, yeah, and they're like, Jesus, I'm like, hold on. And then I go hang out with some music hippies, and they're like, free love, I'm like, cool, and they're like, marriage equality, right on. Gun control, I'm like, hold up. So there's always been this little gap, and I've filled those gaps with bullshit. Just kind of let it roll off. But I got out of the firearms industry a little over a year ago when a hero of mine at SHOT Show, the largest firearms convention in the country, in Las Vegas, told me that I should absolutely quit my job and move to Alaska and become a fisherman. Obviously, the second half of that didn't happen. But as a prerequisite for a fishing job in Alaska, I was instructed to get my EMT certification. And you might be thinking, what good would that do on a fishing boat? But come to find out, there's not a whole lot of ambulances out in Resurrection Bay, so they want their crews to be sort of self-sufficient. So I did it. I quit my job, and I signed up for the next EMT certification class. And I did pretty well in it, and I found it pretty interesting. The whole time thinking, I'm not going to actually use this is pretty cool, but I'm just going to go catch some fucking fish and beat them over the head with a club. Things didn't work out as far as timing was concerned last summer, so I thought, it's fine, I'll get a part-time job over the summer, drift around the Southwest for a bit, get a part-time job at Round Top, making snow, also not using my EMT certification at all. But then we all remember that last little cold stretch that we had, and pushed the season longer than we thought, and I missed all the fishing jobs for this summer. So I found myself thinking, what the fuck am I gonna do? I guess I should get a job. White Rose Ambulance is hiring, I'll apply there. So I interviewed, got hired the same day, and all of a sudden I'm an EMT. At this point, it had been a year since I'd had any training, so I got a lot of on-the-job training. And a couple days ago, I got a page that every EMS provider dreads, and that's Class 2 traumatic injury, 2-year-old female. So immediately I start going through everything that I had in the course. What are the priorities when I get there? Scene safe, yes. BSI, check. Number of patients, mechanism of injury. Is the patient have a patent airway, circulation, breathing, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm thinking, what is it going to be like when I walk in? Well, the girl's probably going to be crying. That means she'll have a patent airway. If she's not crying, then she doesn't have a patent airway. There'll probably be cyanotic around the lips, ears, and the eyes. And all of this is going through my head as I'm pushing the stretcher up to this residence. And we get inside, and there is the little girl sleeping, which throws a big fucking wrench in all of my gears, thinking, is that the one? Is that the girl? Yeah? Okay. Dislocated shoulder? Really? All right. And so we asked what happened, and I guess there was some rough housing. And so I figure, okay, go through the basics, circulation, airway, breathing. Is she breathing? Yeah. She got a pulse? Yeah. But as soon as I grabbed her arm to check her brachial pulse, she wakes up, has this look on her face, and I can see like the 2-year-old mental process that doesn't have words attached to it, but it goes something like, hold on, that fucking hurts real bad. And she starts screaming. And so I ended up doing the most like jerry-rigged splint job that anyone in EMS has ever seen. And we run her into the ER, we give a report on the way, and I get into to reception, and triage nurse comes up and looks at my splint job, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I did that. She's also holding an inflated glove because she was crying in the way, and I reached up, I grabbed the glove, and I inflated it, and I handed it to her, and she forgot all about the pain and just looked out. I was like, wow, this is amazing. Check that box, patient care. But I walked out of the ER and realized that I had no fucking idea what I was doing. I just kind of did it. It's a very similar moral, abounding confidence, and a can-do attitude with a SAM splint will get you anywhere. I still don't know if I fit in with White Rose Ambulance, but so far I fit.